We're at it again, playing Clues by Sam. We have a tricky one today. It is Thursday, and if you don't know what Clues by Sam is, it is a daily logic puzzle game where you have 20 people on a board who may be criminals or innocents, and they give you clues to help you figure out who of them are innocents and who are criminals. Well, if you want to play the game before you watch me play, you can check the link in the description. Otherwise, let's start now. I can already see that Hilda is giving us the first clue, telling us that both innocents below Chad are connected. Okay, so we know that Chad is above Hilda and she's an innocent. If there's only two innocents below Chad, Hilda is one of them. And if they have to be connected, then the other one has to be someone who is connected to Hilda. So Martin has to be our second innocent. And since there's only two, we know that both Ronald and Zaya are criminal in this case. And we don't need Hilda's clue anymore. Now Martin's telling us that Isaac has more innocent neighbors than Anna. We don't have much information beyond that about Isaac or about Anna. So let's leave it at that. Now Ronald tells us there are no innocent coders above Sophia. Okay, Sophia is a coder herself, but she has two more coders above her, and we know that none of them is an innocent. So both Isaac and Nick are criminal. Now we have three of Isaac's neighbors, but we don't know about Chad and Deborah yet. So let's dismiss Ronald's clue. Now Zaya tells us that Martin and Olive have one innocent neighbor in common. Where's Olive? Here. And Martin. Okay, so Olive and Martin share two neighbors, Larry and Peter. Right? Yeah. And only one of those two is an innocent. So one or the other here is the situation. What else do we have of information? Regarding that, nothing. So let's go to Isaac. Only one of the two innocents on the edges is in row 2. Oh, there's only two innocents on the edges total. And one of them is in row 2. So we know that it can't be Isaac because even though he's on the edge, he's not an innocent. So Floyd has to be one of the two innocents on the edges. I also like crime podcasts, but I haven't been listening to any of them. Now, Nick, we're gonna leave this here because it tells us about the total of innocents on the edges. Now Nick tells us some flavor text. And now we gotta cross-reference, I guess, Isaac and Anna. It tells us that Isaac has more innocent neighbors than Anna. Well, so far Isaac has two innocent neighbors. If Anna were to have one more, maybe we would know about something up here. But that's not the case. So what do we know? Oh, we know that there's only two innocent. That's indeed tricky. There's only two innocents on the edges total. So what does that tell us? It tells us that if Isaac has one more innocent neighbor, which he could only have one more because his remaining neighbors are on the edges, so only one of them could be an innocent. And if that's the case, then Bonnie could not be an innocent. Even if Anna has to have the same last even if Anna has to have less innocent neighbors than Isaac, she could have two max, because Isaac would have three in this situation. But if she has two, the other one has to be Gabe, because if Bonnie were to be one in this situation, then it would go beyond the total of two innocents on the edges. So that's okay. Does that tell me something else that I should know? Isaac has more innocent neighbors than Anna. 2 innocents on the edges. Martin and Olive have only 1 innocent neighbor in common. Yeah, they have 2 neighbors in common only. There are no innocent coders above Sophia. Yeah. I'm confusion. I'm confused because it seems like I'm missing someone that I should have opened already. Isaac's clue doesn't tell us about the total of innocence in row 2. It just tells us about total of innocence on the edges. So let me try again. Let me try again the Anna and Isaac thing. We've already figured out that if Isaac has 1 more innocent neighbor, he could only ever have 1 more innocent neighbor because Floyd is one of the 2 total innocents on the edges. And if Isaac were to have 1 more innocent neighbor, that person would be the second one on the edge. And in that case, Anna could not have 3 innocent neighbors. But if Isaac has 2 criminal neighbors, then Anna could only have 1. So that would make both Bonnie and Gabe criminal, but nothing's telling me that that's for sure what's going on. None of the 2 scenarios are complete, I guess. I guess we know for sure that Bonnie is a criminal. Because even if there were to be an innocent here, then the only way for Anna to have another innocent neighbor would be Gabe, if she even has 1 more innocent neighbor. So we know for sure that Bonnie is a criminal. If that was really clear before and it took too long, sorry about that. Now Bonnie tells us that an odd number of innocents below me, neighbor Olive. Okay, so below her, there's an odd number of innocents neighboring Olive. There's 3 people below her who neighbor Olive. And we know that either Larry or Peter, who are 2 people who neighbor Olive, are gonna be an innocent because they are the neighbors that are shared by Olive and Martin, and they have 1 innocent neighbor that they share. The third person that neighbors Olive and is below Bonnie is Vicky, and if she is to be an innocent, we would have an even number. So Vicky has to be a criminal. and we don't need Bonnie's clue anymore. Now, Vicky tells us that Peter is one of Larry's 5 innocent neighbors. So we know that Peter is an innocent. Larry is a criminal because of that. And we know that Larry has 5 innocent neighbors. And we already know about 4 of them: Floyd, Hilda, Martin, and Peter. There couldn't be... Oh, I guess there could be one more innocent here. If one of these are innocent... Oh, one of them have to be innocent. Either Joyce or Olive have to be innocent. Because that's not true at all. If Gabe is an innocent, that means that someone here has to be an innocent. So that Isaac has more innocent neighbors than Anna, right? Because Anna will have 2 innocent neighbors, Isaac has to have at least 3. Now the 2 total people on the edges are here and Floyd. So both of these people would have to be criminal. Okay? So in any case, we know that Thor, Sophia, Zara, and Anna are all criminals. Because if Gabe is an innocent, there's gonna be 1 innocent on the edge here. And if Gabe is not an innocent, there's gonna be 1 innocent on the edge here. So we know our total innocents are met. So I'm pretty confident in that. But if that's wrong, I'm gonna be very sad. But I don't think I am. I think we know that everyone else is a criminal. Okay. Noise. We don't need Zaya's clue anymore. And we don't need those tags. But we need Sophia's clue that tells us that Joyce has more innocent than criminal neighbors. Okay, so Joyce has 5 neighbors total. So far, she has 2 innocent neighbors and 1 criminal one. There's 2 more people for us to assign. If both of them are criminal, let's say both Olive and Gabe are criminal, then she would have more criminal neighbors than innocent ones. And that's not what the clue says. It says that she has more innocent neighbors than criminal ones. So one of these people has to be innocent. Because then there would be 2 innocents, 3 innocents, sorry, and 2 criminal ones. So Joyce has to be a criminal herself. And we don't need Sophia's clue anymore. And Joyce tells us there are as many criminal doctors as there are criminal sleuths. And how many doctors are there? Bonnie, 1, Deborah, 2. 2 doctors total. And one of them is a criminal. Sleuths, how many sleuths are there? Gabe, 1. Olive, 2. And Zara, 3. But there's gonna be for sure 2 criminal sleuths. Because both Olive and Gabe, who are not assigned yet, are gonna have 1 criminal among them. Both of them are sleuths, and they're gonna have 1 criminal among them. So, both doctors have to be criminals, because there are as many criminal doctors as there are criminal sleuths. 2 criminal sleuths, and only 1 doctor left, and the other one's already a criminal. I feel like I'm not making sense with everything that I said today. I'm very sorry about that. I want to try harder tomorrow. Deborah is a criminal then, and we don't know about Chad yet. But we know that Deborah is telling us that Joyce has more criminal neighbors than her. And we know that Joyce has 2 criminal neighbors, so Deborah can only have 1 criminal neighbor, and that is already Isaac. Her only criminal neighbor, so Chad is for sure our second innocent on the edge, and that tells us that Olive, who is also on the edge, cannot be an innocent, so she's a criminal, and Gabe is our last. I misclicked. Gabe is our last innocent. Oh, I'm so sad I misclicked. Is this the same yellow that I got yesterday? Maybe that second row, second column is cursed. We don't know. Halloween is approaching. But that was a tricky one in less than 15 minutes. I think I was afraid that I was gonna make a mistake, so that's why I was kind of mumbling, and getting all over the place. Sorry about that, but if you enjoyed it anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I will be back tomorrow with more Clues by Sam. Subscribe to the channel if you want to see that, and don't forget to check yesterday's puzzle, which wasn't any better, but tomorrow's will be. Trust me. And yeah, that's it for today. I'll see you next time.